Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Hammer. Today is Wednesday, August 7th, 2024. I, of course, am Hammer with your morning daily mortgage rate update. Remember, you can join me live each and every weekday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. I broadcast on Facebook and on YouTube here with a live show where we talk about what's going on with mortgage rates and pricing in the markets and all that good stuff. If you're watching on the replay, don't forget to give me a hashtag replay in the comments. Let me know that you were here. If you'd like to be reminded that I'm going live on the show, you could sign up for a free text reminder, because I know that sometimes if you're depending on Facebook or YouTube to let you know when I'm on, they don't always do that. So if you'd like to be reminded, I send out a text right before I go live. You can sign up using this cool QR code over here, or just go to hmmr.io/reminder. It also puts a Restream link in the comment section so you can use as well. Also, you can sign up for our free daily lock advice. I send out an email each and every weekday morning, www.ratelockadvice.com. Feel free to take anything in there and use it. I know when you're trying to explain to consumers why they're seeing a article in Bloomberg that says rates are dropping to the best since May of 2023 and rates have already jumped up another quarter point, and you've got to explain it. Feel free to use my words. Anything that'll help you. Also, if you want to protect your pipeline during times like this where we do see a lot of volatility, check out our text alerts, www.ratetextalerts.com. This cool QR code, they're $7 a month. Even if you use another service, you may find that you like ours. Sometimes our alerts go out a little quicker than others. Not all the time, but sometimes, it depends on when we think reprices are going to hit. But also it gives you insight. And if you don't want to spend a lot of money, you're not into live charts, you don't want to read Japanese candlesticks, but you just want to protect your pipeline, check us out right there. Last but not least, I got to make a bigger deal, guys. We help you to get loans from Google and social media. It's what my team does here at Originator Success. We help you build your online brand. We dial in your social profiles, your Google business profile. We help you get found on Google and Google Local so that you have people. As we start to head into better rate environment, as we start to talk about refinances, Google, those number of people that are going to Google looking for help, it skyrockets. And if you want to start getting loans from the internet, you need to check us out at originatorssuccess.com. We'll show you how that we do that and how that works. So, all right, my friends, let's go ahead and say hi to the live folks. Then we'll jump into what's going on this morning. Amy Blauser, good morning. Mr. Randy Tico, giddy up. Angela Walters, great to have you here. Monica Dinkins, Mike Brown, thank you both for being here. Take a look and see, where's my chat here? Let's see who was on here. Mallory Fodiatis, good morning. Brandy Brickler, Megan Lindberg, great to see you. Ron Siegel, good morning, sir. He said today is National Raspberries and Cream Day. If you like raspberries, let me know in the comments. Do you like raspberries? Have you ever had raspberries and cream? Not a common flavor, is it? But let me know in the comments what you guys think about that. Deb Dickinson, good morning. Bobby Searson, Mike Brown, great to have you here. Tom Dedmore, Mike Tebow, Kim Mason, Benoit, Babu, good morning, sir. Great to have all of you here. All right, let's go ahead and get into the nuts and bolts of these things. So rate sheets today are going to be worse than yesterday AM. In fact, I did warn about that during our text alerts. If I go ahead and read you what is on the text alerts from yesterday, when we do the text alerts, we do an afternoon wrap up. And I said, bonds continuing to lose ground after last week's overreaction. Some rate prices worse today. Rate sheets tomorrow will likely be worse without a surprise rebound. Consider locking more loans before rates creep up further. We aren't likely to see them move too much higher, but still some room to worsen. And then we'll begin looking for next week's CPI inflation to help again. So rate sheets this morning are likely to be worse than yesterday. We've seen that happen over the last couple of days. Let's see if I pull this up here and do a shared screen. Let's see if that cooperates. Let's pop this over here. All right. So, according to Mortgage News Daily, they're showing yesterday was at 6.5 after being at around 6 3/8. We were down we were down even lower than this. I'm curious on what you guys, how do you find these kind of rate conglomerations here that Matt Graham puts together at Mortgage News Daily? How do you find them as far as what you're able to quote? This is without points and fees and stuff, but right now 6.5 kind of their average. I think that some lenders are definitely pricing better than that, but you can see it did move up. It's moved worse. And today you'll see the effects of that, from the different rate sheets that we've got going on there. Ron said, nice hat today, change of pace. Ron, Dude, I have them all at my fingertips here as far as it comes to hats. This just depends on the temperature. It's 69 degrees outside. We've got the beaver felt hat. We've got the rain oil cloth. What do they call that? Oil skin, right? So I mean, and I just didn't hang those back up, but yeah, I always have. So anyway, as we've got going on, all right, Hammer, focus. Rate sheets worse today. Reprice risk on the day is moderate. Bonds have been losing ground the last couple of days. You're going to see that here in mortgage-backed securities, currently down 2 basis points to start the day. You could see, look at how, what went up like a bottle rocket on Friday, this green candlestick, and then started to fall back to earth. But on Monday, we had that huge global market overreaction, stocks going nuts, and bonds had started really high, but then lost tremendous amounts of ground on the day. Worse than Friday, yesterday, worse here. So kind of, again, if we dissect this, break this down a little bit, on Friday, we saw this huge reaction to the labor market data, and then it settled back down, and that was kind of okay. But on Monday, we woke up and markets were just out of control, and then lost that very quickly. If we take a look at like the 5-day chart here, we can kind of see that. Let me adjust this so we can pull this up and look at that together. Oop, no, damn it. All right, bear with me a second. I'll get this okay, here you go. So taking a look at the 48-hour chart, this was Monday, right? So Friday, boom, we got that labor market data. Things shot up. Then Monday, we woke up in huge improvement in bonds because of what had been going on in the global stock markets over the weekend. Then we lost ground as markets opened. 8:20 a.m. is when markets open here in the U.S. and trading opens. And then, boom, it just continued to move down on Monday. Huge kind of losses. Tuesday, which was yesterday, of course, continuing to lose that ground. See that here? And we're kind of settling in. I think we'll kind of settle in today. Now, remember, where were we before the labor market data? The 5.5 coupon was around 100.30, right? And then after, it was all the way up to around 101, pushed up to these ridiculous numbers. Where are we back to? Around 100.30, right? We're at 100.45 right now. We do have room to drop before, but overall, we're kind of settled into where we were before that labor market data. But remember, that's still improved. Take a look here. That's still improved. A Wednesday right here, we got the Fed meeting. So before the Fed meeting, mortgage-backed securities, the 5.5 coupon was right around the high 99s, right? 99.80 was kind of a high point here for this 5.5 coupon. The fact that we're at around 100.50, still better rates, just not what we saw before. Now, many of you have probably seen my, I'll throw it up on the screen. Oop, come on. There you go. Let me close this out. You guys have probably seen my little meme here that's gone nuts this morning. It's funny what happens. I saw this headline here in Bloomberg this morning. Yeah, that was it. So, rates tumbled to 6.55, biggest drop of 2 years. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, and it's gone. It reminded me of this skit from anybody that's ever seen South Park. This was a funny thing from South Park, and it's gone. And that's here. Ron said, do you have a hat for 100-degree weather? Yeah, Ron, generally it's the see-through straw hats like this for 100 degrees. None of them are air conditioned. But anyway, looking at this, and I kind of posted this, feel free to steal this on Facebook. Everyone else already has this thing. It's been shared a bunch of times, but I've already seen it on my feed from like 10 other originators. And that's social media. Just grab it, copy it, use it. No credit needed, but just a little bit of fun. Unfortunately, that's just the reality. But let's talk about this a little bit, right? So what should you be doing? I mean, again, the outlook is rates are going to hold in this new range. And I talk about the new range. The range is not nearly as low as what people thought it was going to be based on where we saw rates drop down to, in the low sixes, but we'll get back there. What we really need to be keeping an eye on is what are the expectations for the Fed rate cuts. If we take a look here, you could see that, a week ago, it was a 90% expectation that we were going to have just a quarter point rate cut in September. That dropped, shows yesterday at 32%. But I mean, we remember this was up at 80 or 90% when we looked at it previously, that we would see 50 basis point rate cuts, that has dropped to 60%. As I warned you guys was going to happen, it was way too much of an overreaction to the jobs data. What happened in stocks made, again, I oversimplify, but what happened in stocks played a huge role in where bonds took off. Overall market sentiment went crazy. The stock market is built on a deck of, it's a house of cards. And there's way too much money going into AI stuff right now. It's very speculative. And again, I'm not a stock market guru. I don't want to talk over my head, but these are just my observations and some of the things I picked up. So all of that, though, I said it was still much, and unfortunately, we still have room to unwind that overreaction. Markets, people were talking about needing an emergency Fed rate cut. How dumb was that? I said that was totally uncalled for and totally dumb. But markets are still pricing in a majority probability that we're going to see a 50 basis point cut in September. Now, here's the deal. We're going to get CPI data next week. We're going to get another labor market report on September 2nd. Yes, September 6th, rather. September 6th. Okay. So if that data, if we get another big miss for the labor market, if we see inflation is dropping, maybe even dropping more than expected, when we get that next PCE number, the same thing, right? Because CPI is not the Fed's favorite gauge of inflation, but it's going to give us the heads up on it. And the Fed's watching it. But that PCE gauge is the one we're looking to get to 2%. Then we may absolutely see a 50 basis point cut in September. It's not off the table, but it shouldn't be priced this high. These should be reversed at best. Okay, expectation for a quarter point cut. Why a quarter point cut? Because the Fed isn't going to all of a sudden start swooping in with dovish accommodative policy, trying to quote unquote save the labor market that is weakening and try to save the economy. We got ISM data this week that came in stronger than expected. We've got strong GDP data. People are still spending money. We've talked about this many, many, many times. People are spending money they don't have. What'll happen as rates drop down? People will refinance. What happens when they refinance? They're going to pay things off. What happens when they pay things off? They run up their credit cards again. They're going to be spending again. All of it. Look at the big picture. We're not going to see a scenario where the Fed is going to start really dropping aggressively. I think the first rate cut is going to be a toe in the water quarter point cut in September. Ron Siegel and I can have some fun debating that one. Especially look at what we're expecting as we get into December. Remember, we're at 5.25 right now. So for them to be at 4.5 is 3 cuts. The Fed members are only calling for 2 cuts. They were only forecasting 2 cuts. Yes, things have gotten worse, but you had to know that they knew that things were eventually going to get a little bit worse. We didn't see unemployment go up to 6%. We saw it go to 4.3% one time, right? So this expectation would be more than what the Fed is calling for, and that's a tiny probability. Most market probability now calling for 4 cuts. Can't have 4 cuts in 3 months, can you? So bigger cuts in 3 months. This would be a full 100 basis points. This would be 125 basis points. So, I mean, the idea, markets believe we're going to see a 0.5 point cut in September to take us to 4.75. And then they believe that we'll switch to a quarter point cut in November. So that's possible, right? Markets, we may see the first cut be a bigger cut and then see them come back down. I think they're going to, right now, again, without more data, I think they're going more for a quarter point and then move. Ron said Barry made a good point. Hold on a second. Let me pull up the chat so he can do that. The Fed claims they're data dependent, which means they are backward looking and not forecasting anything. What makes you think they know? Because, they're data dependent and they're backward looking at it, but they're also forecasting the trend of that data. Come on. I mean, let's at least give these people a little more credibility. They are the Fed, right? They are the Fed. And as much as everybody wants to trounce on the Fed, Siegel, I mean, come on, man. They have done a really great job keeping the economy going when the government shut it down, killed jobs. I don't want to, it makes me angry to talk about the reaction that we had to COVID and what happened during the pandemic. And I don't want to go there, but they navigated through that. They've pulled out of it. They've dealt with, we're supposed to be able to know what's going on. Oh, an inverse yield curve. We're going into a recession. The Fed has raised rates up to 5.25. We should be going into a recession, but we didn't hit that recession. And what have they done with it? And, other than the whole, we think that inflation is transitory, which again made sense at the time, and everybody kind of trounced on them on that. I don't, they're backward forecasting, but they're also forward forecasting. They're looking for trends and they're trying to kind of guide that plane. So, uh, the transitory, but that's kind of where we're at on that. So, anyway, I'm going to wrap it up, y'all. I'm tired of going really long on these lately. Let me just see if there's anything else that I need to make sure I hit you with. So, just to recap real quick, I have been very clear about locking loans that we're closing in the next couple of weeks over the last couple of days. I think we're kind of settling in now. I mean, right now we're flat on the day. It's less important, but I don't think we're going to see much improvement from here. Right now, you've got Mortgage News Daily showing 6.5. I think we're going to kind of stay there. I think we're kind of capping out. I had said yesterday before we saw reprices worse, I had sent out in our text alert to go ahead and lock some of those loans closing in 15 to 30 days, especially depending on how risk dependent, data, how risk averse they were. Data dependent words coming out of my mouth. But at the end of the day, treasury for look at this bounce that we've seen here. And again, on Tuesday we were at 413, 414. On Wednesday that dropped down to 403, and then on Thursday dropped down to 3.98. We're at 3.94. That's more of where we belong right now. It's this 10-year is now telling me it's kind of rebounded from the redonkulous Monday lows that we had here, where it opened at 3.7 on Monday, 3.71, right? So that was just ridiculous. 50 basis point movements in the 10-year treasury yield. Totally too much, especially for what was going on. But we've kind of settled in. I've warned you that we were going to see this lose. And again, that's kind of why we got this, right? Big rate moves and it's gone. What you want to say to consumers right now, what you want to be saying to anybody is, hey, these opportunities are going to come along. And when they do, I'll reach out to you and I'll let you know when we need to make a move on something. And you got to be ready to move when we do. Did people miss it? Are there still opportunities? I mean, you're talking about VA IRRRLs that are still there. Should people take these refis now, or should they wait until rates drop again? Well, in the near term, I don't see rates making big moves lower. Again, we've gotten these. This is a very odd rate movement that we saw. It was a huge overreaction. I said we would end up at about a quarter point better than where we were. And if we look back on where we were on, let's say, the end of July, we were at 6 3/4 ish, and now we're at 6.5. There's our quarter point. I think we've settled in, right? I think we've settled in. Because of the volatility, you still might want to lock anything closing in the next 15 days. If you cautiously float it, you got to decide if you've got enough time to see about next week's CPI data. That's the only thing that's really going to help these tick back lower again, is if we get a really cool, really good CPI reading that shows inflation has dropped next week. That's going to come out on the 14th. It's a week from today. That's the only thing that you've got going on that's going to help rates really drop. Otherwise, the rates that are behind us are behind us. We're not going to see that rebound. We're not going to see the 10-year just turn around and start dropping again. Market momentum has shifted. The overreaction is over for now. We need some more true data and stuff to go at it. I'm not loving what I see here on the Fed futures, and I think markets are still being too optimistic for Fed rate cuts, but we will have to wait and see. It depends. I could change my mind on that over the next month. We got plenty of time. We've still got September 18th. I mean, we've got well over 5. We got 5 weeks now until we 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's 6. It's 6 weeks from now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 weeks from now, with data, more jobs data, more economic data, inflation data, to see that, yeah, we might see a 0.5 point cut in September. It's possible. But if we see this pull back a little bit, you're going to see rates get a little bit worse stuff as well. So keep that commentary. And Jonathan, listen, guys, I always love when you guys give me kudos. I'm not going to lie. I am the adult child of an alcoholic. Love affirmation. Thanks for all you do, Hammer. Your advice, commentaries help me learn, but also sound like a guru in the meantime. Appreciate all you do. Thank you, friends. I appreciate that. Lee Whitty said good stuff. Hammer and Kamala both evolving. Dude, yeah, I can laugh with you. I got you. When was the last time the Fed was correct? They always overreact and are always late to act and react. I don't know. To me, the Fed doesn't have any fine adjustment tools in their arsenal, dude. They've got everything that they they're fixing a timepiece, a watch with a hammer. So I don't think that they I can pick on them too much. But anyway, that's what you want to be sharing with. And again, feel free, go ahead and go steal my, if you want to have some fun with it, go steal my meme. Let's see how much activity this thing's got at this point. How many people have reacted to? It's funny when it resonates, right? 117 reactions, 16 shares, plus the people that just take it, copy it, and share it on their own watch. If I click on my feed, there it is. There's Mr. Ron Siegel. He went and took it. Go ahead, you do it, Ron Siegel. There's mine. There's Bobby J. Jones. There's Tony Garcia. By the way, isn't this funny? By the way, all it shows you all the people that I'm friends with, the people that have taken, there it is, and now it's finally starting to disappear again. But look at all those people that might, when your feed is filled with your own meme. So I had to watch a YouTube video this morning to figure out how to do that on my iPhone. But I figured it out. I had to create the shortcut thing, and I was able to superimpose it, and it wasn't hard. It took me a minute. If anyone wants to know, let me know. I'll share the link with you on what I got on YouTube, and it took me 5 minutes to set it up on my iPhone, and I was able to play with that and make that. Did that all on my iPhone. Got to give me the hat tip. Is that the HT, the hat tip for it? And yes, I want you to rip off my meme, dude. That's what it's there for. I don't need credit anyway. It's the internet. But I always appreciate, I see that hat tip. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. But yeah, I don't need that. You guys don't need that. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm out of here, guys. And again, thank you so much. I know it's gonna bring up this stupid thing. There we go. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I think we see things settle down though. So, all right, take care, everybody. Bye bye.